So guys, here we are, Stoomboy, the combat companion. So as always, all shows brought to you by Hard Life Fightwear. So Hard Life Fightwear offering a range of products, whether it be gi, no gi, MMA, Hard Life do have you covered. Anybody looking for some cool gear, then hit up hardlifefightwear.co.uk across the bottom of the screen and use the discount code STOOM15 and you will get a little bit of something off the price of whatever you get. So we're going to be talking today with obviously a guy I've known for years. Do you know what I mean? I've known this guy. He's been on the scene. Do you know what I mean? I've seen him in competitions. Obviously got some training up the road with him. So Craig Cowie of East Coast Submission Grappling. So Craig obviously set up East Coast Submission Grappling, and I've been able to see it grow from obviously it's the very beginning. Obviously, coming in with a few people in, and then obviously the classes have been growing and growing and growing. And the guys are out there competing as well, and they're doing a fantastic job out there competing. Hooked up with the Jungle Academy as well. Obviously, it's like a match made in heaven. Do you know what I mean? As these two coming together, because what Robbie is doing over at the Jungle is again some amazing things. So obviously these two gyms coming together and creating some magic. So yeah, it can only be fucking good. It can only be good. Do you know what I mean? So, but listen, Craig Cowie, absolute pleasure, brother. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
No, mate, thank you for having me on. I know I've been meant to catch you for a wee while now, so it's good to finally be able to get a hold of you and get a wee chat. You know what I mean?
Yes. Tell us about you then. So obviously the gym, East Coast Grappling. I mean, as I said, we talked about the gym itself. Gym's looking amazing. Do you know what I mean? The gym's looking great. A lot of great people coming in. As I said, seen it from the very beginning. There was only a few people in the gym, but it's been growing and growing and growing over the time.
Yeah, do you know what? When we first started, it was like it was one of my mates has just like a lockup.
Yeah.
And we didn't have obviously any like facility to have, and so he basically just let us use his lockup, and it was just sort of like drop the mats down, get as many people as you can get in, just like train, get rounds and stuff like that. And then obviously mats cleaned mats up, so it was like up and down in this guy's lockup and that for a few weeks, and then we were lucky enough to find it was actually one of the boys that trains at the gym, Big Stu, shout out to him. He found this hall that we rent out now. It's actually like a dance hall, but obviously it's massive, open wooden floors, a whole wall that's covered in mirrors for all the guys that like to watch themselves when they're doing their rounds. You know what I mean? And so it's a quality little setup that we've got, and we've got like plenty of time in it and things. And yeah, the people. It's been good having the original people that I've always trained with still here, still training and things like that. A good percentage of them, but yeah, having all the new guys in and stuff like that, and in this field, it's been quality. Like, yeah, it's been awesome.
It's definitely brilliant. I mean, as I said, I remember when you opened it up, and it's always good seeing people open up new gyms, and again, especially guys who are in the game already. Do you know what I mean? That know the scene in Scotland, because obviously, again, the Scottish scene is very different from the English scene and the Welsh scene and stuff like that. So it's good for somebody that actually knows the scene itself and has a good structure as well. I mean, you've got a really, really good jiu-jitsu structure. You're very good. You're very technical. You know your shit. Do you know what I mean? So
you're pretty kind.
No, but you know what I mean? I've seen you on the scene. I've seen you in competition. Do you know what I mean? So you definitely know your stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's always good when somebody that has the knowledge that you've got to be able to walk in, because I mean anybody can set up a gym nowadays, anybody at all. But it takes a different type of person to make it successful.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's just, I don't know. I'm feeling awful there. That was very nice of you to have said such nice words with me. I think it's easy to be in a position where obviously like I'm not exactly like somebody that's known. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not a name on the scene, even at like purple level and stuff like that. So it's. You do have to like put a lot of faith that people are going to sort of give you the chance. Do you know what I mean? Rather than they don't just see the name and go, I'm going to go train with him. So you've got to trust that the people are going to come in, take the class, take the chance, enjoy it. And I'm fully aware that it's going to take some time to get sort of like decent levels of respect from other gyms, because it's new, because I'm not necessarily like you say the big name. But I think for you that obviously know me, you've seen like I've reffed events, I've commentated events, I've coached, I compete. I've pretty much been involved in almost all the parts of the scene. So as much as I might not be a face to know, the chances are at some point I've maybe reffed one of your guys' matches, or maybe commentated on something. Do you know what I mean? So I do like to think I've been involved enough in it that I can give the guys that are good enough to come into the gym the best sort of shot that I can to put them out there and learn good jiu-jitsu, as well as understanding like the other stuff, the jiu-jitsu, do you know what I mean? The competition scene, the sort of like game plan style of things and things like that. So
Yeah.
some of these we've got, like to say, got to just trust that they're going to come and they're going to enjoy it and they're going to put faith into it that I'm going to do my best to make them as good as I can. You know what I mean? So
yeah. It helps as well. I mean, being a competitor. Do you know what I mean? We always talk about this. I mean, somebody that's actually been out there and competing and kind of knows different rule sets. Do you know what I mean? Because again, you've been in competitions where you've had different rule sets. Do you know what I mean? So it's not always necessarily the same rule set. So it's good for that side of things as well to know the competition side as well as the hobbyist jiu-jitsu side. Again, you've trained with hobbyists as well as competition guys. Yeah,
well, I think, like I say, over the time I've trained at a fair few like different gyms. Like I've trained up in higher level a decent bit. I've been like to just a few. Like I say, I'm not going to start listing off names, but I've trained at a few different places, so you get a good chance to see like a high level. Do you know what I mean? You get good rounds, and obviously, especially now, not to go off topic onto it, but now obviously training at the jungle and stuff like that, it's a different level. If you know what I mean, it's quality. It's quality. I think I've veered off from what you're saying there, but
yeah, but tell us about the jungle as well. I mean, obviously, Robbie was in a similar position where, do you know what I mean? As they, and I always say this. I mean, Robbie doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Robbie's done amazing things since owning the jungle. Do you know what I mean? And he always puts it on. He said it's not all about him, right? It's about his guys. Do you know what I mean? And which is a very respectful thing for anybody to say. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, most of the time, it's your name above the door. But Robbie said the success of the jungle is down to his guys. He's just the guy that's shown them what to do. They go out and do it in competition. Do you know what I mean? So, but he was a very similar position to you, where he opened up a gym. He took a chance. He had some people that wanted to train, and what he done is he gave them a place to train, and then he's built from there. So a very, very similar position to yourself. Do you know what I mean? So similar path you guys are on.
I think that's why we managed to click so quickly, to be honest, because obviously he sort of like knew my situation, and I'd trained down with him before. I'd been at seminars with him before and stuff like that. So he knew the situation. I think he understood it, and I think he maybe even felt like he knew exactly how to help because he'd been there before, if you know what I mean. And obviously, as a person, I just got on with him really good. The coaching style that he has just it goes really well with me. I pick things up the way he teaches them just really well and stuff like that. So it was always sort of like when the opportunity arose that we had the sort of conversation about it was a no-brainer for me. It's like that's absolutely where I wanted to be. You know, you obviously you see people that's like Cal and stuff like that have got nothing but nice things to say as well as about Robbie from, you know what I mean, down the other end of the country and stuff like that, because they see how switched on his mind is for the game and things like that. And even learning a lot of that, learning a little bit more of how to play the game more rather than just telling your boys, like, go in there, you're trying to sub them, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like having a game plan, knowing how to play to what you're trying to do and things. That's learning things like that from him has been like, there's been incredible stuff. Like, it's been really good. I'm very, very grateful to be able to be part of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it opens up doors for you as well. Do you know what I mean? I mean, doors that might not have been open before. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. I mean, it's always in jiu-jitsu, you know yourself. It's not about what you know. And a lot of times it's about who you know. Do you know what I mean? So, or who you're associated with. Do you know what I mean? Like you go and training with certain people, then it open up other people for you to go and train with, like Cal Pacino, the guys at Exile and Northeast Jiu-Jitsu and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, even in the short, just in the last, like, even, obviously I've probably been trained down at the jungle, like, intermittently over the last couple of years, like, going down and back, but mostly quite heavily over the last year especially, and the opportunities that have been afforded by training there with Robbie, with those guys, you know what I mean, the seminars with Cal, the seminars with all these good people, having Ash Williams down and stuff like that, it's just something that's been, there's nothing that could obviously amount to it. It's been fantastic, and even having the opportunity for getting the guys on like a sub-series and things like that wouldn't have come about had it not been for Robbie, had it not been for being in touch with Cal and all these things to get these opportunities, which again gives the gym a chance to get its name out there. But it's about giving the guys that want to compete the opportunity to put themselves out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, some of them are hungry to get on the stage, if you know what I mean, and it's like, I'll do anything that I can to make sure they are put in a position to do that. And obviously being with Robbie and knowing the people that we've known is obviously putting us in that position, which is just awesome. Yeah, it's really, really great.
Yeah, nah, Robbie's a great guy. As he definitely doesn't get that respect. Do you know what I mean? Well, he is now. People are starting to realise.
Eventually.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like me and a very small minority of people saw what he was doing and we saw it happening. Do you know what I mean? And I remember having a conversation with him when he opened up the jungle, and over the time, obviously, we chat back and forward, and we always said the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, what you're doing, Robbie, is you're building something special at the jungle. And then obviously saying the same thing to you, Craig, is what you're doing at East Coast Submission Grappling is exactly the same thing. You're building something special. You're giving the thing with jiu-jitsu. I mean, jiu-jitsu is for years coming through white belt, blue belt, and all that. It's about you taking from jiu-jitsu. Okay, but there comes a point where you then start giving back. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you're doing with East Coast Submission Grappling. You're now giving back to jiu-jitsu. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's the special thing about it, and that's what's going to make East Coast so special.
I think you do have an obligation. Do you know what I mean? When you're in the scene, when you've learned from, and you've, like you say, taken knowledge from so many people. That obviously, I know when you go to your seminars, you pay for your seminars and this, that, and next. But a lot of the techniques and the sort of information you get from these people is invaluable. Do you know what I mean? So, it's just, not much more I can say about it than that. Do you know what I mean? It's just
What about obviously the coaching side? I know you've been coaching for years anyway. Do you know what I mean? You've done a bit of coaching and stuff like that. But what's obviously having your own gym, East Coast Submission Grappling? What are you noticing? What's different about coaching the way you're doing it now to what you were previously doing?
You know, it's more just. But when you become the coach and it's like the main coach on the situation, you find yourself in a situation where it's more than just the coaching. Do you know what I mean? You've got almost like some level of like a social obligation to people as well. Do you know what I mean? To look after them in more ways than just by being the coach and stuff. And it's not that you're trying to be the savior to everybody's problems. Do you know what I mean? But there's extra things you've got to do. You've got to think a little bit more than just, this is a training partner, he just needs to train with me. Do you know what I mean? There's more people going on in people's lives to be expecting things of them, and in situations, you know, when people are not turning up, it can be easy to be like, as a training partner, just sort of like bully them, like, where are you been? Where are you turning up? Do you know what I mean? But sometimes as a coach, you've almost got to think a little bit twice about it and be maybe not. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that. And it's, I think as well, even on your own progression side, I think when you're coaching, you're afforded the opportunity to sort of run through things multiple times. So you're relearning your things over again while you're coaching through them, and it helps you solidify things in your own mind. It helps you coach them better over time. And what's the old saying, they go, you know, coach twice, coach once, learn twice. That's, I'm sure, that what they say. It's that whole thing. So I think it's good. I get something out of it, and the guys get something out of it as well. And like I say, for me, it's a proper passion thing. I love it with everything I have. So, you know what I mean? It's just, there's nothing that could make me not do it, if you know what I mean. So
yeah. It's definitely, I mean, as the coaching, I always talk, and again, I talk to a lot of coaches, and that's what they say is, to go out there and just train and to go out and do competitions is one thing, but once you start coaching, you then start breaking the moves down, right, for your students, and then what it does, that makes you a better jiu-jitsu practitioner and you a better jiu-jitsu competitor, because in your head you're now thinking differently. Everything's different. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, you probably broke it down before, but it's very, very different when you're a coach breaking it down.
When you've been training for so long, I think, obviously not that I'm saying I've been training for so long, the guys in the game been training for a long, long time, but I've been training for a decent amount of time, and I think it's easy to forget the little details that need to be shown to people, if you know what I mean. You can often come in and there's almost, especially when you've been training with a certain level and there's maybe not necessarily a lot of new people, you almost don't think to give them the little details that they might need. It sort of like, here's the move. Whereas when you're coaching it, they'll ask you questions and it forces you to go, okay, to answer that, I actually need to give you this other little bit that maybe on me I didn't explain to you. Do you know what I mean? So it forces you then, like you say, it's in your head, it's in their head, it brings it fresher in the technique, and then it's just, it's great. It means that everybody gets the freshest and the most information they can. So
yeah. What's the vision then? So obviously we know, do you know what I mean, you're still in the early days. Do you know what I mean? It's still early days for the gym. Do you know what I mean? But you've obviously had guys out competing. They've been out there competing. I say guy, male and female, have been out competing for the gym. But what's the vision? What would you, you've obviously got something in your head. This is where I want to take it.
You know, I'm fully aware it's going to take time. I'm in no rush to try and put anything anywhere fast. This is going to take a long time, so I'm not going to try and force anything anywhere. But I do want to be in the position eventually where they're the team where when one of your guys pops in a division and they go, "Who have you got?" and you go, "It's a boy from East Coast," and they go, "Fuck."
Yes.
They go,
yes.
That's what I want to be. And the end goal to be that at all levels. Do you know what I mean? Like to be that up, even when it comes to, obviously it's, some people may think it's far-fetched, but like you say, you've seen what somebody dedicated like Robbie can do by gym in like 3-4 years. So you know what I mean? I want to be at the point where on all levels people go, this is going to be a tough time, you're going to have a rough match here, if you know what I mean. Like that's the idea. And to just bring a lighter environment to it. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes in some parts of the jiu-jitsu community, it can be a little bit grunty, shall we say, a little bit masculine, like this. Do you know what I mean? And so sometimes it's nice to bring a little bit more of a fun element to it. Do you know what I mean? So I think finding the balance between fun and keeping it competitive and making sure you're teaching them something that's actually important, that's actually going to work, is that's the idea. If I can make it that. Ultimately, student retention is your main goal. You know what I mean? And the more people that stay, you know you're doing a good job. If people are disappearing, then you're like, right, this is on me. So that's the idea. Lots of students, and have other people being scared when they have to compete against you. That's the ultimate dream. I think for any coach, that's the goal, is it? Do you know what I mean? That's where you want to be. So,
but you see that with the jungle. I mean, anytime the jungle, you see a jungle academy guy in the division, the rest of the divisions obviously looking at it and going, as you said, shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
usually.
I've got Big Henry, for example. Do you know what I mean? I've got Big Henry. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is Big Henry's? Like 6 feet something, a tank, an absolute tank, 97 kilos, I think he said he was. So just absolute tank. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you, he feels like a lot more than 97. Like, I'll tell you that.
But anybody that's in the division, they see Henry coming in. Not just Henry, we're just giving Henry as an example here. There's a lot more. But I mean, you go in the division, you're like, my first match is against Henry, and you'd be thinking, fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
What have I just paid all this money for?
And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And that's, do you know what I mean? That maybe necessarily wasn't, I don't think that was, people didn't look at Henry maybe a year ago or 2 years ago and go, shit, I've got Henry. Whereas now they look at him and he's terrifying. We saw what he did on Sunday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Saw what he did on Sunday. There was no escaping that boy once he wanted what he was going for. Like, it was really, really, really great to watch. Like I've been there since when Henry first started training at the jungle, and Henry was always good. Super strong, super athletic, really talented guy. But the differences he's made in a lot of his passing and his back taking sort of things have made a massive difference. And obviously I've felt it. You know what I mean? I've been at the other end of it, feeling these improvements that he's been making. And like it's a scary gentleman to be put up against in your bracket for sure. So yeah, especially first round, it's a bad day for you. So
yeah, but it's terrifying. And as you guys are going to be exactly the same, man. Do you know what I mean? As soon as they say East Coast Submission Grappling, they're going to be like, fuck, because they know what's coming. They know it's going to be a hard match. They know it's not going to be easy. Do you know what I mean? So, because you know yourself, I mean, a lot of cases where, do you know what I mean, you can go into a competition, you'll be like, oh, it's such and such from this gym, and you'll be like, oh, that's an easy win. Do you know what I mean? And there's some gyms out there like that, whereas, do you know what I mean? Like Scotland especially, there's no gym in Scotland you can look at and say, that's going to be an easy win. Do you know what I mean?
Nah. Yeah.
Everybody's so much better than what they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think there's some gyms that you look at and you go, right, okay, this is going to be a graft. And there's some gyms that you look at and you go, shite. Do you know what I mean? That's the goal, is to be one of them, if you know what I mean. But I think I look forward to the possibilities. I think, especially for me and Robbie being in on this, like, we have very almost opposing styles, if you know what I mean. Robbie's got such a fantastic, like, open guard De La Hiva game from the bottom. His leg lock stuff is really fantastic and things like that. Whereas, obviously, maybe it's to do with my size because I'm a bigger guy, but my game is much more top heavy. Do you know what I mean? I'm much more about passing, top position, back takes, that kind of thing. So I think as we get the chance to work together over the years, it's really going to complement each other. So
yeah. See, the fact is, even though it's different styles, you've both got the same vision.
And for sure.
That's the thing. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, whenever I talk to Robbie and even talking to you, I mean, and seeing what you're doing, you're going down, as I said this earlier, but you're going down a very, very similar path. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's good to have, because when Robbie went down the path, nobody had been down that path before. Do you know what I mean? So it was difficult for him to take advice off people, because nobody had ever been there. Do you know what I mean? People had successful gyms in and around the area. Whereas, and again, when I was saying to Robbie, always talking about, look, stay on the path, see what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And now we're seeing it. But whereas obviously you're going down that similar path, so it's a very, very similar vision that you have to what he had 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's when he went through it, like you say, there wasn't anybody there to give him their opinions on things, and so for me, it's been invaluable. Anytime there's been a concern, it's sort of like I'm lucky enough that I have someone like Robbie to ask in the first place. But then, second of all, like because he's been in that situation, the information he's going to give me is like there's already been several moments where he's been like an assistant in almost a sort of make or break moments for me, if you know what I mean, where he's really helped me out in situations where I've been a bit lost. So it's been invaluable, like for sure. And I think even for him, as much as I'm maybe not so far along in the experience level, I think he has been able to have me there now with somebody as well for a little bit of like just to converse about, just to sort of like throw ideas to and things like that to get a little bit of back where he's maybe not necessarily had that a lot. So it's been, I'd like to think it's been helpful both ways, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, no, definitely, man. You two together are awesome, absolutely awesome together. Do you know what I mean? What about you? Obviously, you're out there competing. You're still competing yourself. Do you know what I mean? What's your plans for this year?
So I've just now, like, obviously, I still work full time as well. So I work 8 till 4, and then we do our classes at night and things like that. So for me, it's still most of my focus is going towards coaching the guys, if you know what I mean, trying to get them right. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to find time to fixate on your own progression, if you know what I mean, when you're doing that. But I've said to the guys, because they've all been questioning me about it, that I will get back out before the end of the year in some way, shape or form. I'm a little bit, shall we say, heavy at the present moment in time, so I'll maybe cut a few pounds off. But then I'll be looking to, before the end of the year, get into something, whether it be like an Empire competition or whether I may be looking to try and get on one of the sub-only shows, because I think a 10-minute match seems better to me than 9 hours with 12 matches over the course of the day at this point in time. I'm 30 years old now. I'm getting a little bit big for that.
Mate, you're only 30, man. That's young. That's young in this game, man. Do you know what I mean? You've still got fucking a long, many years ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm just pitying myself. So that's all it is. I just need the moment to be upset about it.
What about the boys? Who we got up next? What's happening next for the guys?
So hopefully, basically, what we're building towards just now is, and I know you had a big helping hand in it, was bringing Empire down to Glasgow for their next competition. I seen you had a bit of a stick in that one, so thank you very much for that one, mate.
Do you know the funny one was? It was obviously Jake Cross. Obviously, I'm good friends with Jake. We're in a kind of group together, and it came up on his memories from I think 4 years ago. He says, "Stum, do you remember this?" Right, and I remember reading it. Obviously, where do you want to go? Do you want to go Glasgow, Birmingham? And then 68% had Scotland, right? And then I was just like, as I do, they won't come up. They're shite bags. Do you know what I mean? So, and then he messaged me in the group and he said, "Do you remember this?" And I was like, I was pissing myself. And he's like, "Well, guess what? June the 1st, we're coming." Do you know what I mean? And I said, "It fucking took you 4 years, Jake. It took you 4 years, man. What took you so long?" And then I did he put the fuck Stoon Boy up, because I did that and said, "Mate, post that." Do you know what I mean? And he posted it up, but it was obviously it was a good laugh between us, man. But obviously I've known Jake for a while, so yeah, it was banter. But then he said, obviously
I'm glad it's worked out, because that's the one. Obviously, for a lot of the new guys that have started, this is the one that we're sort of like building towards for being their first competition. So they're going to obviously build towards competing. Then, so I think there's 5 of the boys from East Coast that are registered already, and then a few of them that will hopefully register a bit closer at the time. Obviously, again, Robbie being a part of Empire, obviously a bit of an advocate for Empire. So hopefully, we're hoping that it'll be a bunch of those guys and a bunch of our guys. So it'll be a nice and busy one for their first event. Aside from that, I know the potentially sub-series, one of them that's coming up soon. Hopefully, maybe going to get a couple of the guys on, but not confirmed yet. I still need to send in some names. And something new that you'll have obviously, I'm assuming you spoke about, was the CGI pit that's coming to
Inverted Diamond, the Diamond.
Inverted Diamond. Darren Clark bringing down the PGI. So I've got a a couple of people that have registered some interest in that. So hopefully when that comes about, we'll get in a couple of boys in for that. So we've got a few guys coming up in the year, and hopefully a few other guys will jump into things as the time goes on. But again, we're still new, so it's still building up the confidence, getting their jiu-jitsu good, and then we'll get the competitive. And then once people get the bug for it, they'll go. We had a bit of a sort of inter-club team event that was for some of the clubs in Angus that obviously some of the guys took part in. So a few of them, that was their first ever time competing, and they were at me after it, like, when can we go again? When can we do the next one? So that's what you want. That's what you want to hear, like.
Yeah. That Diamond Alley looks good. I had a good chat with Darren Clark on Sunday at the Scottish Grappling Comp, and he told me all about it, and mate, it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing, do you know what I mean? So obviously we're going to hear a lot more about it. Obviously me and him will do some stuff and see what's happening, but it looks awesome. It looks really awesome. And from his plans, obviously I don't want to talk too much about it, but his plans that he's got, what's in his head at the moment is going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It sounds fucking amazing, do you know what I mean? So, and it's local as well. It's local to you.
Yeah, that's the best part. Me and obviously young Liam Fullerton, we were speaking about maybe a week ago about how cool it would be if somebody would bring a pet, and it would be an awesome to get a chance in against that. And then obviously I spoke to Darren again on Sunday too, and he brought it up to me, and I messaged the chat, and Liam was instantly keen. So I think Caris hopefully herself will be hopefully back in action if she's keen. She's going to hate that I've just said that out on live, but hopefully can give it her to jump back in action as well and get going again. Some of the other guys too have registered interest. Like, there's so many of the guys that are making such solid progression in even short periods of time that I've got no qualms that it's not going to be very long before a bunch of them are competing. I'm confident they're going to be doing well too. I've got confidence in the guys and how quickly they're improving now. So I'm excited to see where it goes, like, for sure. This next year's hopefully going to be something good to behold. Yeah.
It was a good time as well at sub-series, the last sub-series. Obviously the guys did brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Liam was awesome. Do you know what I mean? Liam was absolutely fantastic.
He always is. You cannot get that kid to have a cam match. Like, it's balls to the wall all the time. It's great.
Yeah, but he did absolutely amazing. Do you know what I mean? And it's great to see. I mean, it's great to see you guys out there on the scene. Do you know what I mean? And I remember seeing you at the first sub-series when I came back, I was doing the commentary, and obviously seeing you guys there and coming out.
Yeah.
And then, do you know what I mean? Seeing you guys again. So it's always brilliant to see, because obviously I've known you and Liam, Caris, and do you know what I mean, everybody else for years. Do you know what I mean? For a number of years. So it's always great seeing you guys out there and enjoying it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is all fun, man. This shit, what we do, is supposed to be fun. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's the thing. I mean, and you're going to put that into your students. Do you know what I mean? Go out there, have fun. Do you know what I mean? Enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, there'll be nerves and stuff like that, especially if it's first comps or the first couple of comps. But you know yourself, eventually the nerves is like, what nerves?
Well, my coaching style, the way I try and teach guys, is I do try and keep it. I try and find that balance between making sure they're listening, they're paying attention, they're getting good details, but it's to try and make it as entertaining as possible. Do you know what I mean? If you put something across to somebody with a stern point, they forget it about 10 minutes later, where if you make it a bit more enjoyable, you make it a bit, even occasionally sometimes a bit of a laugh about it, it makes it stick a bit better. So that's the way I definitely go about it. And you know what I mean? I'm hoping hopefully that'll show in the long term. Do you know what I mean? So.
No, well, listen, I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing to see what you guys are going to do this year. Do you know what I mean? So, as I say, I do wish you all the success. Do you know what I mean? As I said, you're a fantastic guy, great competitor, great coach, great trainer, training partner. Do you know what I mean? And you're a handsome guy as well, Craig. Do you know what I mean?
I thought you've been flirting with me tonight, mate. You've been flirting with me. What are you doing?
Full package, mate. Full package. So, but obviously, before we say, give people a shout out, if you could go back to your younger self when you first started, what advice would you give yourself?
You can't win in the training room. That's the first one. Tone it down. Tone everything down. Bring everything down to base level. Take all the pressure, all the speed, all the strength out of it. Play pure technique. That's the best I could say, especially from his early in your jiu-jitsu career. If you can get that mentality in your head, you'll progress considerably faster than someone that thinks every single round's a death match and they must win it. I would say that, and fucking look after your knees. That's the other one. Look after your goddamn knees. That's the next one.
Yeah, I like that first bit you gave. Do you know what I mean? Because as I said, a lot of people, I mean, consistency is always a big thing. Do you know what I mean? You need to be consistent. But to be able, as you say, because we've all been open match where we go in and everybody's trying to kill each other at open match. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it shouldn't be like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it should be competitive. Do you know what I mean? But you're not there to kill your training partner. Do you know what I mean? The most important person in the room isn't me. It's not you. It's your training partner. That's the most important person in the room. So, so I like that when you talk about break it, tone it down, technique. Do you know what I mean? Do all that kind of stuff rather than. It's not the IBJJF World fucking Finals. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
In the training room. So I like
it's
that.
something that me and Robbie, something that we were always on the same side about was that when you're, especially when you're in the training room, especially when you're trying to get better with your training partners and things like that, like everything should be straight up technique. If you want to do some comp rounds where you're going hard at each other, you have a comp class. There's rounds specifically for that. But in general, look after yourself, look after your training partner, take your opportunity to work as much technique as you possibly can, and you can't go wrong. Do you know what I mean? So, and like I say, that's the way we try and teach it. It's the way we try and teach it with the rounds. It's why we try and teach it in the class. There's times to go hard at people, but the rest of the time, it's about you and your training partner's progression. They're your pals. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, no, listen, that's awesome advice. Do you know what I mean? Definitely, everybody should definitely heed that advice. Do you know what I mean? That's is great advice. But listen, I do wish you all the success, mate. Do you know what I mean? I hope this gets bigger and bigger. I know it's going to get bigger and bigger. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you know yourself, try to build something new. Do you know what I mean? And more as time goes on, more and more people get on board, and then do you know what I mean? This is going to be a massive success in the area for the area itself. Do you know what I mean? So, what about anybody looking to contact you guys? So, if they want to come to classes, they want to join. How many classes a week do you do?
So Monday, Friday, and Saturday we do no-gi. So Monday and Friday no-gi, 6:30 to 8:30. Saturday morning, 10 till 12 morning class doing no-gi. And then on a Thursday night, we have a gi class. So again, 6:30 till 8:30, we do a gi class. You got to keep the gi alive, mate. It's real jiu-jitsu, brother.
That's it, mate. That's it.
That's it. That's the one. So, well, So 6:30 till 8:30 on the weekdays, 10 till 12 in the morning. So I'll look forward to seeing you on one of them soon when you come along for a visit.
Listen, I'll definitely be over, man. I said I've got family stay up there. You know that anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I don't go up as often as I should do. Do you know what I mean? But the next time I'm up, obviously I'll bring the family. Do you know what I mean? As I always do. The family always love training with you guys, so I'll definitely bring the family as well. Do you know? So,
well, next time you're down as well, Stim, you'll need to. I'll need to give you a shout after a training session to hop on a wee chat with me and my mate's podcast as well. You can come and have a wee chat with us instead.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
That'll be good.
Final thing then, Craig. Obviously, been in the game for a while. Again, you've got amazing training partners. You mentioned, obviously, the guys at the Jungle, obviously the guys at East Coast. But anybody in particular you want to shout out to? Friends, family members, teammates, anything like that?
A lot of them, like I say, again, as much as I've said his name all the time, Robbie has been as supportive and helping pull us through the situation. Like I say, even Dale for obviously what he did at the beginning of the jiu-jitsu for getting me into it and things like that. All the guys that are turning up to the club consistently, even like Karis and Liam have had such massive inputs. Obviously, Karis designs all our clothes and things like that and gets all that handled. For the gym attire, Liam's had a massive input. The other guys, my mate Steve, who just started when we started, but he's in every single day helping me put the mats down, helping me take the mats away, doing all the extra bits. Like, too many of them to name, but Stu, Ryan, all of them, they all know the part that they play, and they all know how much I appreciate them just showing up and trusting me. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate them. And a massive thank you as well to my partner Liv for putting up with me being at the gym 24/7 and leaving her at home to look after the dog all the time. So yeah, massive thank you, and to my parents as well. Do just to everybody. Everybody's had their little put, and everybody knows the part they play. So
yeah, and anybody you've missed, I mean, everybody knows who they are. Do you know what I mean? You guys all know who you are. See, if we talk about this all the time. If you had to sit there and thank everybody, it'd be a whole other show. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people.
Yeah, would still be here tomorrow morning if I was going to do that. You know what I mean? Every single one of the boys at the Jungle too, for the rounds they give and for the input they have, and for them having a bit of faith in me and accepting us and my boys when I bring them up and stuff like that. Like, so if everybody, like I say, if I've not said your name, they know I respect everybody so much and appreciate everything that they do, the little bits they do to help as well. It makes a massive difference. Couldn't do it by myself, never.
No, definitely. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you, brother. I'm glad we got this chat. I know we've been trying to get each other. Do you know what I mean? Every time we see each other at events, I'm like, listen, I'm going to message you, and then fucking shit happens. Do you know what I mean? And then when I saw you on Sunday, I was like, do you know what? Let's fucking set a date right now.
I can, yeah. That's what I think. You caught me off guard. Absolutely collared me at the door. I was walking out, and he's like, "You Tuesday, we're doing it." I'm like, "Oh, whoa, yes, okay, we're there." But I'm happy with it. I'm buzzing, mate. I'm good. I'm glad we got to do it.
Listen, I appreciate it, mate. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate it. So, but yeah, as I said, East Coast Submission Grappling, guys. If you've not followed them on socials, always head over to the Facebook, Instagram. Just look for East Coast Submission Grappling.
Yeah, I think Instagram tag will be EC Submission Grappling is the actual handle for the Instagram. But yeah, East Coast Submission Grappling, you should find it like.
Yeah, and definitely get over. As I said, even if you're visiting the area, do you know what I mean? Just drop Craig a message. Do you know what I mean? Make sure you do. Message him first. Don't just turn up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, thank you. Cheers for that one.
Do you know what I mean? Like, see these people that just turn up at gyms, man, without messaging. Fucking message first, man. Do you know what I mean? So that's the respectful thing to do.
I'm not hiding anything. I just need to know. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely message them, man. Head up, man, because there's a lot of great people up there, a lot of good grapplers in there. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Craig himself. He mentioned Liam, Karis. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the rest of the guys up there. So you'll get good rounds, obviously, different levels as well. And it's definitely going to be worth your while. So, but yeah, check out the classes as well. Obviously, timetables up there as well. So definitely check out the classes. Obviously, you've got the no gi and you've got gi. Obviously, they're keeping the gi alive, do you know what I mean? Which we love to see. So, but definitely drop in. And as I said, next time I'm up, Craig, up that neck of the woods, do you know what I mean? You're only, 10 minutes away from where my family lives.
If you drive fast enough, mate, it's not far from anywhere. Do you know what I mean? You'll be all right.
Yeah, but listen, I'll definitely get up there. I'll bring the family, do you know what I mean? And we'll drop in. But absolute pleasure talking to you, brother, as always. Do you know what I mean?
No, thank you very much, mate. Thank you.
You're one of the good guys in the shit that we do. Do you know what I mean? There's not many good guys in this game, right? But you're one of them. You're definitely one of them. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, trying my best anyway, mate. Trying my best.
But listen, absolute pleasure, brother. We'll catch up soon at the next. When's the next comp you're going to? When's the next one?
So I'm having a look with some of the guys. I think there's one in is it Amsterdam, Grappling Industries in Amsterdam. Some of the boys are going to obviously maybe not that one, but it's going to be a case of whichever one's next. I can't remember. There's an Empire one coming up, and there's another one after that as well. But I need to have an exact look. But I'll see you at the next one for sure. Yeah,
we'll definitely see you, brother. We'll definitely see you. But listen, enjoy the rest of your night, and listen, I'll catch up with you soon. All right,
legend, mate. Thank you very much, Stu.
Take care, buddy.